Leadership involves vision, a plan to implement that vision, and then knowing when to execute it. I'm supporting Ed Murray because he knows how to do that and to provide the leadership that Seattle needs. Largest transportation package ever. Vision, plan, executed. And then last year, after 17 years, a vision that same-sex marriage could pass in this state. A plan that was painful and long, but he did it, and then it was executed. And it was executed at a time that the people in this state would pass a referendum and stand behind us. Whether it's social justice, transportation, or community health, it's for Ed Murray to lead Seattle. I cede my time to Ed Murray.
Thank you. I'm so happy to have Sharon Nelson's endorsement, Joe McDermott, Eileen Cody, and Joe Fitzsimmons' endorsement. So thank you to all of them. So in 51 seconds, I spent my childhood in Alki, so it's good to be home. I was able to accomplish the things I've been able to accomplish in the legislature because I've been collaborative with people who are different than me, people who are from the other party, people from other parts of the state. I want to do that in Seattle. We need a mayor who's collaborative so we can do something about the police department. We need a mayor who can be collaborative so we can do something about the transportation system. We need a mayor who can be collaborative so we can do something about how this city is going to grow. That we don't lose neighborhoods like the one I grew up in Alki, yet at the same time manage growth. That's why I'm running for mayor of Seattle. I've had a chance in my time in the legislature to chair all 3 budget committees, and you heard, well, I have 4 seconds left. So I ask for your endorsement. I want to bring us together as a city. I want to show the state how liberals work together to get things done. Thank you.
Is there a speaker against? Is there a speaker against? Is there a speaker against? All right, hearing none, we will go on to the next candidate. Peter Steinbrook has been nominated by Max Beckett.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I could say honey. Anyone especially good tonight, by the way. Thank you. I am proud to represent the campaign of Peter Steinbrook here. Peter Steinbrook has walked the walk. He has defended the Growth Management Act. He's defended jobs that affect West Seattle and Burien residents. He supported industrial lands. He supported places where you get your hands dirty, as well as wanting to clean up the Duwamish and clean up the Sound. At this point in time, I think it's better to hear from the candidate himself. I'd like to yield the rest of my time to Peter Steinbrook.
Thank you, Max. Thank you very much. Seattle needs new leadership, but it needs effective leadership. I don't need on-the-job training. I've already been to mayor school. I spent 10 years on the Seattle City Council. I'm an architect, planner, and a lifelong civic activist. I'm committed to a city for all, for our neighborhoods, for rebalancing priorities, for addressing livable wage jobs and the inequities between women and men, and 73% pay inequity for women. About the unemployment in Seattle, which is 62 in the nation. We have a higher poverty rate than the state average. We have home mortgages going underwater. We can do better. We can support our neighborhoods and rebalance our priorities so that the city services are more equitably and fairly distributed throughout our city. And we can set aside some of the big expensive glamour projects in advance of that are being talked about in advance of supporting basic infrastructure like pedestrian safety, roads, drainage, and 25% of the city we don't even have the basic street infrastructure. We're expecting 150,000 more people over the next 15 years. Where are they going to live? How will they live? How will they find affordable housing? How will we accommodate that growth in our neighborhoods? while at the same time not just protecting neighborhood character, which I stand for and have worked for decades for, and know this city well, better than any of the other candidates. How are we going to balance that growth and preserve and enhance quality of life and livability for all? A city for all. Thank you very much. I welcome and would be honored to have the 34th District endorsement. I've been endorsed by the 11th, the 46th, and the King County Democrats, as well as the Sailors and Longshoremen. Thank you.
Thank you very much, candidate Steinberg.
Am I in your way with this?
Is there a speaker against? Is there a speaker against? Anyone speaking against? Hearing none, we'll continue with the speeches. I also would like to, at this point in time, just if you'll maybe just for 1 second. We have the first credentials report. We have 139 credentialed voters here tonight. And I'd like to remind you at this point in time, if you haven't signed in, you still have time to do that up until the very last vote tonight. So please do. You can sign in right over there. Ann Martin, wave. The lovely Ann Martin. Thank you. All right. We will go on now with the speeches. And this is Peter Layton. Peter Layton, please introduce your candidate.
Thank you, Peter Layton, West Yellow Resident. I support Michael Needham for several reasons. I really do think he's done a fine job as mayor, but keep it short. Sorry. Keep it short. Above all, I support him for his strong support of mass transit and expanding mass transit in Seattle. And I would like to see the rest of my time to move the candidate. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. So I live up in Greenwood, which is far, far away from downtown, in the opposite direction from West Seattle. Got 3 kids in Seattle Public Schools. My wife's a PTA at Nathan Hale High School. When I took office, we were in pretty tough times, really high unemployment. And we started off by listening to you. I've done over 120 town halls and walking tours. And you told us you cared about jobs. We're adding jobs at twice the regional and state and federal rate here in Seattle. You told me you cared about public safety. We have the lowest crime rate in 30 years. And not only that, we have formed a community police commission, which brings together everybody, and I'm endorsed by people who have sought reform, and we're making progress on it. Education and the future of our kids. We've doubled the Families in Education levy, and we're going to expand an early learning academy so our preschoolers are ready when they get into kindergarten. You told me you care about transit. We've got the Sound Transit Board to work to get sound transit on the ballot by 2016, and that includes a study right now of light rail to West Seattle as well as to Ballard. You know, you told me that you want us to spend your money carefully. We put it into basic infrastructure like the seawall, South Park Bridge, and over $30 million of improvements that have gone out to all the neighborhoods. I'm endorsed by the Sierra Club, the Bike Club, the hardest working people in this city, restaurant workers and hotel employees endorse me, calling me the most progressive mayor in America. I want to work with you to make this the most progressive city in America. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any speakers against? Are there any speakers against? Are there any speakers against? Oh, all right.
Hello, my name is Justin Hirsch, proud to be Union Longshoreman. I'm also a resident of 34th District Democrats. I've been a member last year and this year. Mr. Mayor, as regards to the arena, we witnessed you break up the initial contracts for the feasibility studies for that arena into 3 separate groups, such that it was lower than the reporting requirements for public expenditures. And further, we saw you push a financing agreement that was really substandard and put this city at quite a disadvantage. Further, we saw you attempt to steamroll over any opposition, and I cannot, in good faith, vote for a mayor who exhibits that type of leadership. Thank you very much.
Well, Sharon Maheda.
Thank you. I'm a PCO in 15 and 14. I would like to cede my time to the mayor, but first I'd like to say that issues come and go, and I have had the pleasure of knowing the last 5 mayors, and this mayor is the most progressive mayor that Seattle has ever had. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Thanks. With regard to the arena plan was called by a leading arena critic one of the best arena plans that any city has ever adopted. And these were my conditions. One, it couldn't touch our general fund, so all of the money that we're putting into the arena will be paid back by rent and taxes from the arena. And I wouldn't have done it any other way because our basic budget was too important. In fact, we balanced our budget in those hard times without cutting human services, with protecting basic services, and we had more money we put into things like the Youth Violence Prevention Initiative. That agreement that we made was brought out to advisory groups, full hearings in both the city and county councils, and we got it through. And we're committed to working with the port on making sure we support their needs for transportation as well. And I point out to you, there's union jobs in building that, and we made sure that there are going to be union jobs in operating it. So those people who work at football and baseball games will now have a 3rd season, and they'll have year-long jobs. And that's why Unite Here and other service worker unions support the arena, because of what it's done. You know, we're lucky here. We have a thriving port. We could do better. We have a thriving maritime sector. We're building boats for all over the world. We have a thriving downtown. Right? We've seen our revenues in this city go up. Our tax revenue goes up. That means we can invest in our neighborhoods. That means we can invest in the rest of the city. And as mayor, I'm proud to be part of a city that has so many economically vital sectors, and I'm proud to be able to support all of them, because that means that Seattle can be a model of how we grow in a way that's just and a way that's environmentally sustainable. Thank you.
All right.
Are there any other speakers against? Any other speakers against? One more time. Any other speakers against? Hearing none, we will move on to the next race. Our King County Committeeman, Michael Arnold.
Thanks, Marcy. I'm your King County Committeeman, PCO Alaska Junction. I think Bruce Harrell's our best choice, personally, and I'll cede my time to him to explain it.
Thank you, Mike. Well, look at the candidates. There's a few not on there. I'm in some stiff competition. Good people, good Democrats. But imagine if one emerges from that group that has an unprecedented commitment to social justice. Imagine what a city could look like. Peter, I know Seattle too. I was born in this city too. And I know when Seattle is ready for change, incredible change. I think my candidacy is about hope more than anyone else. I talk about, for example, you have a gym up here at South Seattle Community College. I will build an endowment fund such that every child in Seattle Public Schools can go to college. You see, I'm changing the conversation. We can't do that. The mayor said, in 2 years, if there's not demonstrable improvement in Seattle Public Schools, I will take it over. There hasn't been. He talked about crime rates being low. It's a crime that 25% of our students are not graduating. My candidacy is about reaching out in this region. We have incredible wealth around here. Lack of resources will never be an excuse in my administration. I've stockpiled endorsements and money and support and people wearing these orange shirts because my candidacy is about hope. My life story has been that. My mother and father didn't go to college. My mother was interns, Japanese work. My father came up here as a black man looking for more opportunity from the South. Here I am, 2-term city councilman. Thanks to the 34th, you endorsed me twice. Thank you. My son here, who's becoming a Democrat out of college, I was his age when I became a Democrat. You believe in giving them a second chance. I want to close by saying my job assistance legislation, only 3 people supported it besides me in this race. And they're all the women, Joel Gray, Kate Martin, and Mary Martin. They say they're running for social justice when it's cool. You got to do it when it's uncool too. Yeah.
you very much, candidate Harold. Is there a speaker against?
Nope, no speakers against.
Thank you very much.
Well, isn't this democracy? Thank you so much for being here today and being part of democracy. And I'm speaking here because I have never seen a mayor that comes to our neighborhood and listens. He is working because what he heard from all of us. However, I have never seen Bruce Harold come into our neighborhoods, only when he's campaigning. And I wish that he can really work together with new mayors that come. The history of not working together with mayors is not just in McKinney. It has been there for a long time. So I'm here in support of Mike McKinney and wishing that the all Asian community has said that they have never seen him around. The other thing is about refugees and immigrants. Wishing that Bruce Harold has supported what Mike McGinn created, the Office of Refugees and Immigrants Affairs, ever in our history. We are all immigrants except with the Native Americans that have been here before us. I'm sorry, I think that's it. Thanks.
I'm David Toledo, a member of the 34th, very proud. To say that Bruce hasn't visited any area is incredible because he's received endorsements in the 11th, the 37th, the 46th, up and down North Seattle and South Seattle, and it's because he supports democratic values, social justice issues, workers' rights issues. He's a leader when it comes to those things. And you know he's a leader because you go to any town meeting, any city council meeting, any forums, debates, and what you hear again and again is, I agree with Bruce. I agree with Bruce. Even in a room full of leaders, I agree with Bruce. I'm going to cede my time so he can tell you a little bit more, but he is the right man for the job.
Well, if I've disappointed you, I apologize. As a public servant, that is not my role to do that, so I do apologize. And I don't even take offense to it, I just think it's untrue. I've spent my entire life in public service. I was 16 years old, I spent every summer tutoring young kids. As an elected official, to be very candid with you, I have to be all over the map. But I signed up for that. I think I'm about as successful as a public servant could be. The mayor did not create the Office of Immigrant and Refugee Affairs. Like I said, it was untrue. It wasn't even in his budget. I'm sorry to mistake you. We created it and then handed it to him and said, populate it. But it's not about that. It's really about the fact that when I had kickoff, I had almost 700 people there. People that can't write big checks, but they believe in what I'm trying to do. It's about one Seattle. Peter, I love your message. It really is about one Seattle, and I've been saying that for 20 years. Imagine if we have community service officers that I will create that come from the communities you're talking about. Because this is your city, and my city. I will probably die in this city. I told you I was born here. I'm not going anywhere. Okay? So we will have a whole new set of kinds of officers to reflect the diversity in the city that you treasure, and certainly all of you, because you are good Democrats, and I look forward to helping you in this great city of ours. Thank you very much.
Are there any other speakers against? Any other speakers against? Last time, any other speakers against? Thank you. Hearing none, we will move on. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, Kate, do you have someone that can see their time for you?
I'll see it.
Okay, thank you.
John,
We don't need another lawyer pitting one group against another in a polarized fashion, creating winners and losers. And we don't need another legislator making a bunch of sausage. My name is Kate Martin. I'm the candidate formerly known as Kate Martin, but I'm known as Kate now since there's two candidates with the same last name. I bring to the table 25 years of business experience. I'm a planner and designer by profession. I've been involved in civic engagement for over 2 decades.
and I've been raising my children for the last 22 years. The job of a mayor is the day-to-day operations and a beautiful big vision for the future. Day-to-day operations are not going very well at the city. I have a policy and budget wonk on one side of my brain, and it doesn't look good. We have unsustainable trajectories in many areas. The police department is a wreck way beyond what the Department of Justice is talking about, and we need change. In terms of the vision, I bring to the table my planning skills. I'm not afraid to use a map and to figure out where we need to go, not tomorrow, but in the future. And not a piece of the puzzle, not a part of the picture, but the entire picture. I want to make this an election and not an auction. I'm running a very grassroots campaign. I invite you to find out about my priorities online: fixing the darn bus system, funding youth, getting the police department figured out, saving a place for the middle class in this city that we love. Please, call me, invite me for coffee, send me a little check. I would so much appreciate your endorsement tonight, and I thank you very much.
Is there a speaker against? Speaker against? Speaker against? Hearing none, we will begin the vote. I want to point out that you do have these little ballots. Please do write in mayor under position. Then do write the candidate's name. Please print your name and sign your name. If all four of these things are not done, this will be a spoiled ballot and we cannot count the vote.